what is genuinely funny about this entire situation? It is not the specific way they treated you. That part is entirely predictable. That is just flawed human nature operating at its absolute lowest frequency. The blatant disrespect, the sudden betrayal, the arrogant assumption that they can simply walk all over your boundaries because they are too completely blind to see the danger simmering just beneath your surface. That is not the joke here. The real punchline, the absolute masterpiece of this entire psychological dynamic, is your silence. Your quiet, unbothered, cold as ice response. My friend, they absolutely did not expect that, did they? No, they desperately wanted you to scream. They wanted you to fight back. They wanted you to throw an emotional tantrum like a fragile child so they could point their fingers and call you unstable. But you did not do it. You completely denied them that cheap satisfaction. You looked at them and you gave them absolutely nothing. You see, silence is an incredibly sophisticated weapon. It is a slow, methodical, psychological blade, and the absolute best part about it is that it cuts so much deeper than any shout, deeper than any insult, and deeper than any physical altercation ever could. When you do not say a single damn word, when you maintain your absolute terrifying composure, they start to mentally choke on their own toxic words. They start to sit alone in the dark and wonder if they ever really knew who you were at all. And that is what real, unadulterated power looks like. They disrespected you. We both know it, and they know it. They laughed in your face, or they mocked you behind your back, and you absorbed the impact without making a single sound. But what their small, arrogant minds completely fail to understand is that their disrespect was nothing more than the opening bell. Round one is officially over, but the real psychological warfare starts right now. And the beautiful truth is, you have already won. You won the exact second you decided to stay quiet. You won by stepping out of the arena and letting them drown in the deep end of their own staggering arrogance. It happens in the quiet moments, when the distractions of the day fade away and they are finally alone with their own thoughts. That is exactly when your silence begins to eat them alive. That is when the heavy, suffocating weight of their disrespect starts crushing their ego, little by little, piece by piece. They are laying in bed at 2 a.m, staring at the ceiling, endlessly replaying what they said and what they did to you. And do you know what they are hearing in return? Absolute, deafening nothingness. That silence becomes a relentless scream inside their own heads. It grows louder and louder with every single night that passes. And the more time that stretches on without a reaction from you, the more they will begin to realize the catastrophic magnitude of their mistake. They will slowly, painfully realize that they messed with the absolute wrong person. And you do not have to lift a single finger. Let them stew in it. Let them burn in the psychological mess they created for themselves. Do not ever give them the comfort of knowing what is going on inside your head, because that is exactly what they crave. Manipulators need a reaction like lungs need oxygen. It tells them they exist. It tells them they hold power over your emotional state. But you are far too intelligent for that primitive trap now. You finally understand the underlying mechanics of their game, and you know that the only way to beat a manipulator is to simply refuse to play. They think they are so incredibly clever. They genuinely believe they can disrespect your boundaries and just walk away like nothing happened, expecting you to eventually crawl back and demand an apology. But total, absolute silence is the deadliest form of psychological revenge ever engineered, and you are currently delivering it to them like a seasoned professional. Do not even bother with the anger. Do not bother with the screaming or the long paragraphs explaining how much they hurt you. That emotional bleeding is a script written entirely for weak people. Real, unshakable strength comes from your ability to stay perfectly calm while letting them aggressively underestimate you. They will dismantle their own sanity all because you possessed the elite discipline to keep your mouth shut. You see, modern society conditions people to expect noise. They expect conflict. They feed off interpersonal drama because their own lives are so profoundly empty. When you remain silent, you completely rob them of that toxic oxygen. You leave them entirely stranded in the dark, guessing, wondering, and endlessly overthinking. You allow their own paranoid mind to become their ultimate enemy. Every single time their brain flashes back to the moment they disrespected you, they will feel slightly smaller, weaker, and increasingly pathetic. And they will never have any idea what is coming next, because you have transformed yourself into an unsolvable mystery. You have become untouchable. That silence of yours, that is pure, unadulterated fear, my friend. You have actively made yourself the exact thing they fear most, the unpredictable, unknown. Here is the harsh reality. They did not respect you because they thought they could get away with treating you like a backup plan. But the fundamental truth about respect is that it is forged exclusively in silence, never in noise. Let them laugh right now. Let them celebrate their temporary, pathetic little victory with their equally toxic friends. Because in due time, that victory is going to turn to dry ash in their mouths. They will start to notice that the dynamic has permanently shifted. They will see that you have fundamentally changed, that your energy is no longer accessible to them. And by the time they finally realize how catastrophically they screwed up the calculation, it will be far too late. Because your silence is not just punishing them. It is systematically burying their relevance in your life, slowly and methodically. Look, I completely understand the psychology of the pain you are feeling right now. It physically hurts being blatantly disrespected by the exact people you genuinely thought had your back. That specific brand of betrayal stings deeper than almost anything else. But you need to completely rewire how you view emotional pain. Pain is not a tragedy. Pain is a highly efficient industrial tool. You take that hurt, you take that profound disrespect, and you forge it into something incredibly dangerous. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it make your boundaries impenetrable. But absolutely never let it make you emotionally weak. Do not give them the sick satisfaction of seeing your armor crack. The exact minute they see you lose your composure, they have won the exchange. And we are no longer in the business of handing out free victories to mediocre people. You are vastly better than that. You are operating on a significantly higher intellectual plane. You are the absolute architect of this dynamic now, not them. So let them temporarily think they have won. Let them have their fleeting moment of arrogant delusion, because when the dust finally settles, they will be the ones who are permanently haunted by the unavoidable memory of their own toxic behavior, and deeply haunted by the cold, vast expanse of your silence. And when they inevitably come crawling back, because human nature dictates that they always come crawling back, desperate for your attention, desperate for your forgiveness, and desperate for a reaction, you will know with absolute certainty that you have already won. You won the very moment you closed the door and decided to stay quiet. And when that day arrives, when they try to offer you some fake, carefully constructed apology because they realize they lost a premium asset, do not even offer them a single word in return. Just look right through them, offer a cold, knowing smile, and gracefully walk away. Because your silence will be the absolute loudest, most devastating sound they will ever hear. You see, society has successfully brainwashed the masses with a deeply twisted idea of what power really is. Weak people genuinely believe that power is all about who is the loudest in the room, who can throw the hardest punch, or who can make the biggest, most dramatic scene. But that is not power. That is just emotional desperation disguised as strength. True, terrifying power is always incredibly subtle. It is completely quiet. It never needs to scream or boast to be heavily felt by everyone in the room. It is like a ticking mechanism in a silent room. Nobody pays attention to it until time is completely up, and by then, it is entirely too late. And right now, in their lives, you are that ticking mechanism. You are just sitting back, conserving your energy, letting them falsely believe they have successfully gotten under your skin. But you know the actual truth, don't you? You are not broken. You are not defeated. In fact, you are just getting started. And with every single second that passes without your reaction, your silence is tightening the psychological grip around their fragile ego. They foolishly think they know you. They think they have your personality completely figured out. But people who operate on that low of a frequency are profoundly stupid. They only possess the capacity to see what is immediately in front of their faces. They do not understand that you have secretly, permanently changed the rules of engagement. You are no longer playing their petty, emotional game. You have designed your own game, and in your arena, silence is the ultimate, undefeated weapon. You have to burn this concept into your mind. Your silence is not a white flag of surrender. It is the most dangerous, highly calibrated asset you currently possess. When they threw that disrespect your way, they were eagerly bracing for an impact. They were expecting you to get mad, to lash out, to hand them the exact ammunition they needed to justify their terrible behavior. But you didn't give them anything. You handed them a complete void. And now, they are trapped inside their own heads, obsessively wondering when the other shoe is going to drop. And oh, the consequences are going to drop. Trust me on that. But when they do, it won't be a loud, messy confrontation. It will be like a cold whisper in the dark. It will be the sudden, shocking realization that you have completely surpassed them in life, in success, and in peace. They won't even see it coming, and when the reality of your elevation finally hits them, it will be too late to do anything about it. Have you ever noticed how incredibly uncomfortable toxic people get when a room goes completely silent? How they start shifting nervously, trying to fill the air with meaningless chatter? That is because true silence forcibly strips away their distractions. When you remain perfectly quiet after they disrespect you, it is the psychological equivalent of holding up a massive, high-definition mirror to their soul. It violently forces them to look at all the ugliness, the insecurity, and the jealousy they constantly try to hide from the world. And believe me, manipulative people absolutely despise looking at their own authentic reflection. They simply cannot handle the quiet. They will try to fill the silence you left behind with absolutely anything they can find. Flimsy excuses, obvious lies, smear campaigns, or eventually, fake apologies. But you do not owe them a single second of relief. You let them sit entirely in that dark silence. You let them squirm under the weight of it. You let them feel every agonizing second of the void they created. And here is the absolute kicker of this entire dynamic. They are actively destroying their own peace, trying to decipher what you are thinking. They are obsessively replaying every word, every action, desperately trying to make sense of it. They do not know if you are quietly plotting your next move, if you are planning to publicly expose their behavior, or if you are just biding your time waiting for the perfect moment. The uncertainty is eating their nervous system alive, and the hilarious irony is that they do not even realize you have already mentally moved on. You are not wasting a single drop of your highly valuable energy focusing on them, because they simply are not worth the cognitive effort. You are entirely focused on yourself. You are focused on what comes next, on your own evolution and your own future. And that realization that they are completely irrelevant to your existence is exactly what is driving them insane. They say that the best revenge is served cold. But what they fail to tell you is that sometimes the absolute most devastating revenge is taking no action at all. Sometimes the most destructive thing you can possibly do to an enemy is simply walk away, lock the door behind you, and force them to deal with the permanent aftermath of their own toxic decisions. They will completely self-destruct. All you have to do is take one massive step back, completely detach your emotions, and quietly watch them naturally implode. And while their life is slowly falling apart from the inside out, you are rapidly rising. You are actively getting stronger. You are converting their disrespect into premium fuel for your own success. Every insult, every slight, every single time they arrogantly thought they were somehow better than you, that is just more raw power placed directly into your hands. But you do not waste that power on them. You use it exclusively for yourself. You build something bigger, something substantially better. Make them regret ever crossing you without lifting a damn finger. Your sustained silence is their lifelong punishment. Every single time they look you up online, every time they see you living your life, thriving, elevating, and operating without a single care in the world, it is going to physically hurt them more than anything you could have ever said in the heat of the moment. Think about the psychology of their ego. They blatantly disrespected you, and their ego genuinely expected you to eventually come crawling back to demand an explanation. What their fragile minds are completely unprepared for is the cold, hard reality that you simply do not need them to exist. That is the specific realization that breaks a manipulator's spirit. That is what crushes their overinflated ego into fine dust. Because in their twisted reality, they genuinely believed they mattered to you. But the brutal truth, the truth that you establish through your silence, is that they are nothing. They are entirely irrelevant. And that, my friend, is what psychologically removes their power. Let them live in fear. Let them drown in their own self-doubt. You are miles above it all. Your silence is the permanent reminder that you are stronger, colder, and vastly more powerful than they will ever be.